The lower a person's level of cognitive understanding, the more they tend to treat their self-esteem as a matter of life and death, because it might be the only thing about themselves that still feels intact. You casually say a single sentence, yet they can interpret 10 different kinds of contempt from it. You are merely stating a fact, but they feel you are completely negating their character. This reaction stems from a disconnect between self-perception and actual capability. When a person's sense of inner worth is thin, any slight stir from the outside world is experienced by them as a threat to the self. They cannot separate the issue from their own person, because in their mind, I and my opinion are fused into one. To deny one is to deny it all. From a psychological perspective, asking such a person to admit a mistake is almost like asking them to dismantle the very psychological structure they rely on to survive. Their sense of worth is often built on a fragile premise: I must be right. Once this premise is shaken, their entire self-identity risks collapse. Therefore, in communication, they rarely engage with the actual content, but rather wage a war of self-preservation. All their refutations, justifications, and anger are not aimed at clarifying the issue, but at maintaining the illusion that I am not wrong. The reason admitting fault is so difficult is that it doesn't just mean acknowledging an error in a specific matter, but forces them to confront the possibility that they might be inadequate, that their thinking has limits, and that they are not as exceptional as they believed. The pain from this shattering of their self-image is often more than they can bear. Behind this phenomenon lies a psychological mechanism at work. When a person's knowledge in a certain area is very limited, they are on the contrary prone to develop an illusory confidence. Because they know so little, they cannot see how much they do not know. Their thought patterns are singular, making it hard to imagine other possibilities exist. Thus, they easily settle into the comfort zone of their own constructed understanding, mistaking their limited knowledge and experience for the whole truth. In this state, self-esteem becomes the wall protecting this narrow world, and any differing opinion is perceived as an invasion. Conversely, the broader one's perspective and the deeper one's thinking, the more one becomes aware of the boundaries of cognition and the limits of the individual. They understand the world is complex and multifaceted, that their own judgment could be flawed, and that a clash of opinions is not a personal attack. This clarity allows them to accept criticism peacefully and adjust themselves with ease, because their self-worth does not depend on being always right. As someone once noted, the great thing about dealing with people of high cognitive understanding is that you don't have to tiptoe around their ego. The exhausting thing about communicating with those of low cognitive understanding is that you must constantly tend to their emotions. This reveals a core difference. The former focuses on whether the problem can be solved and understanding can be expanded. The latter focuses on whether the self is being validated and faith is being saved. In actual interaction, you often need to spend significant effort first on reassuring, affirming, and approaching indirectly. Even so, what the other person ultimately remembers may not be the advice you gave, but a hint of negation in your tone one they imagine themselves. Such communication is draining, because it's not an exchange of information, but a careful navigation around a person's psychological minefield. Facing such individuals, attempts to persuade or change them are often futile. Their cognitive loop is so tightly sealed that all external information must first pass through the scrutiny of an ego filter. What fits is allowed in. What doesn't is labeled as malice. You cannot wake someone who is immersed in this state, because the act of waking them itself will be seen as an offense. Perhaps the greatest punishment for low cognitive understanding is this: they are imprisoned by their own defense mechanisms in a narrow world, missing out on broader vistas and the possibility of becoming a better self. Meanwhile, those who can calmly face doubt and composed accept their shortcomings, through repeated cycles of self-renewal, ultimately travel farther in life with greater freedom.